Hey, how's everybody doing today? As you can tell, I got a little bit of a haircut, but the first thing I wanted to do is tell you this isn't going to be a metal detecting video today. It has been over 100 here, or pretty close to it, for the last 3 weeks, and we've had absolutely zero rain. And unfortunately, when the weather's like that, I can't metal detect because it's what we Southerners like to call the South Carolina winter, because let's say the ground turns to rock. So some of y'all up north know what I'm talking about. In the wintertime, you know, your ground freezes over, you can't dig at all. Well, that's exactly what happens here in the summertime. The ground gets rock hard, and I'm not about to sit there with a pickaxe trying to recover a memorial penny. So until we get a really good rain and maybe things kind of stop being quite so hot, I won't be able to metal detect. So until then, I've got some coin rolls. Now, I went to the bank. I went to 3 banks, and I got $80 worth of nickels and $5 worth of pennies. It's the most they would give me. And I'm going to search through them for errors. The pennies, I want to see if I can find some sweet pennies and some errors. Maybe an indie head, hopefully. I doubt it. And with the nickels, I'm looking for buffaloes, V nickels, hopefully, war nickels, a few errors, and 2009s. 2009s are like super rare. So if I find anything cool, I'll let you know. But let's go ahead and turn around. Alright, this is the haul. We'll see if there's anything good that comes out. Like I said, whenever I find something, I'll turn the camera back on, but there's no need to look through rolls, you know, on camera, especially if I don't find anything. So hopefully I'll find something real quick and I can turn the camera back on. Alright, 3 rolls in, and the ender popped right out the backside. 1939. Plain. So I'll check under magnification, because 1939p nickels usually have a, I say usually, they're sometimes doubled on the Monticello, where it actually says the word Monticello. Sometimes it's doubled, but I haven't found any of those yet, but I'm still pretty happy because I got a 1939. And just for the record, I like to keep a lot of the nickels. Anything older than 1960, I like to stash away. They're not really worth anything really extra unless they're in really good shape, but it's just a personal preference of mine to keep those. So let's keep hunting. All right, same roll as that 39. I just got a 57 and a 41 right next to each other. So we're going to go ahead and finish the rest of this roll live, just in case something else cool comes out. Probably just jinxed it by filming, but hey, let's take a look. This 41 is a plain mint, and the 57 is probably a Denver. Nope, 57 plain. It usually never happens. So we got 2 more to stash away off to the side, and let's finish it out. Little fun fact for you with the 2000s, they have a really big habit of rotated dies. So if you look at the front, they're supposed to be, when you flip a coin like this, it's supposed to be the same, but sometimes with the 2000s they'll be 45 degrees off, and this one's normal. So I always want to check that in the 2000s. And I always want to check the buffaloes for a speared buffalo. That one's pretty dirty anyway. Nope, not speared. Alright, I'll pick back up if I find anything else. Very next roll, I just dumped this thing out, and just for the person that doesn't really coin roll hunt or hasn't had very much experience doing this with nickels, when you see this color, that's usually a good sign of a war nickel, because they tarnish differently. So just because I see a little bit of a black color, I haven't touched anything, I would assume this would be either a 80s that someone just put, you know, because usually the 80s are the ones that are black for some weird reason, or it's a war nickel. So let's go ahead and grab this one first, just to see if it actually is a war nickel. And it is. Yes! Oh, yes! I love getting these things. Alright, we got a P mint mark. Let's go ahead and flip it. 1943. Probably one of the most common war nickels. I'm not complaining whatsoever because I love finding these things. Never gets old finding silver, especially war nickels. For some reason, I just have a affinity to them. So we'll pick up the rest of this and put this off to the side, and we're going to finish this roll out. I'm not going to do it live because I got cursed the last time, so I'll turn the camera back on if I find anything else. Out of that same roll with that war nickel right here, I end up pulling a 1940 nickel. And the good thing about this one is when you flip it, it's got an S mint mark. So the 1940S has about a mint of 36 million in comparison to like 100 and something, 170 something million for the plain, for the Pennsylvania, I'm sorry, the Philadelphia mint. So when I pull the S mints, especially the S mints from the 40s, I just get really excited because they're kind of rare. So, well, rare in comparison. They're not like rare, but they're pretty rare in comparison to the Philadelphia. So I just like finding them, and we'll go ahead and put these two off to the side with our other ones, and keep on searching. And in this next roll, I ended up pulling out a 1947, and if you can't tell this little bright and shiny one, it is an Aruba one. So I figured I'd turn the camera on and show this. You don't get very many foreigns, and really kind of cool seeing a Aruba 25, I guess 25 cents, size of a U.S. nickel. But this one, 1947 nickel. Let's see what it is on the reverse. Looks like an S. Can't really get it in the camera. There we go. 1947S. I got to look up the mintage on this thing, but again, like I said, the S's in the 40s, I really like collecting them, so pretty good find. Let's go ahead and finish out the roll since we're almost done anyway. And nothing else, so I'll come back if I find something else. Alright, I'm on my second batch, the second little thing of $20 worth of nickels, and 3 rolls in I pulled out in the same roll the 1959, 1954, I believe the 54 is the plain one. That's pretty good. The 1959 is the Denver. And then this one, a lot of the nickels have been coming out dirty like this, like they've been sitting in water or something, but it's another 1939. But I think I might throw that one back because it is completely thrashed. Like it's been sitting in somebody's change jar with moisture and water and nastiness, so I'll probably toss this one back. So from now on, I'm just going to turn on the camera for some really good stuff. Maybe at the end of this roll, I'll show all the ones I find if I don't find anything silver or buffalo or anything of the sort. Alright, I just finished up that second batch, and there's the first 2 that I found that I've already showed you. And then I've also pulled a 1956, 1940, both plain, 1939 plain, and a 1954. I think this one's a D, yeah. That one's the D. Pretty dirty on the back, which I don't really like, but hey, it's a 1954. I'll go ahead and stash it. It's only 5 cents, so I'll add those to the pile and keep going. Well, that batch was, let's just say, kind of disappointing. The first ones and second one were actually pretty good. This one, this $20 worth, wasn't really anything. Only thing I got was a 1958D, 1957D, and 1941 plain. There is, however, 2 coins I wanted to show y'all if you want to get into coin roll hunting. You see these 2? These are what's called PMD, post-mint damage. And I wanted to show them, that way you don't automatically think there's some sort of an error. You see this one? You see how it's all pitted and kind of nasty, cruddy looking? Well, that's not an error. That's a metal detecting find that someone put in a rock tumbler. So they tumbled it to make it look cleaner, so it'll be accepted by like a coin star or something. So that's not any kind of mint damage. And this one, I don't know if you can tell, you see how everything looks faded and blotchy, and you can really tell in the reverse. See how it's all pitted looking? Everything looks blurry. Well, usually when you see a blurry coin, it means it's struck through grease, but when it's on both sides like that, it usually means it's a drier coin. Not to mention the fact that you got this huge lip on it, because it's been tumbling around in an industrial dryer, and the heat fades the nickel like that. So that's another post-mint damage. Just wanted to give a little lesson for those that want to get into the hobby. These aren't any kind of error coins. They're just, you know, damage from somebody. Cool. Fourth roll into this last sleeve, I guess you could call it, of nickels. See that? That's a good old buffalo. Man, this is almost better than a box. Alright. There's a buffalo, and I think there's a mint mark on there. It looks like, I'm going to pull it off camera real quick. It looks like a D. So whatever it is a D mint mark. Wow, she's slick. Let me see if I could look at it. I think I see a 2, so 1920 something. But it is very, very worn. That's unfortunate. Usually you see, when you get a buffalo, usually they're dateless. And when they're dateless, they're worth maybe $1 at the most. If I could get some Nicodate, put it on there, it might be worth it. I'll eventually do a video on that, but for the time being, I'm just stoked I pulled a buffalo. You don't really get these very often. I don't think I pulled a buffalo out of a roll in almost a year at least. I find these more on the ground than I do cornrow hunting, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm going to pop this up here with the silver, so let's keep going. Alright, this is the result of this is $80 worth of nickels. Couldn't get 100 like a full box, but these are all customer rolled. I personally like customer rolled better than Fed wrapped, but that's just my personal opinion, especially the area that I'm in. But I ended up with 2 1939 Philadelphias, 2 1940s, one of them being a S-Mint, 2 1941, 1946, 1947, and 53 are both S-Mints. So, love pulling out a San Francisco mint. 1954, 2 1954s, 156, 257, 258, 159. I also have that Aruba 2013, I guess quarter, 25 cents. Then we have that war nickel that we found earlier, 43p. And this dateless buffalo with a D mint mark. So I think the nickels were definitely a success. This is definitely one of the better ones that I've had for customer rolls, so I'm pretty excited. And let's move on to those pennies now. Just finished up the pennies. I got 76 coppers and 1 2009. Surprisingly enough, no wheat pennies. No major errors that I've seen so far. The 98 2000 whams I was looking for. I didn't get any 1969 S's, and I looked at the 1983s for anything, but I didn't see anything glaring. I'm going to go back over through a couple of ones that really stand out, the 83, 88s, 92s, so I can magnify them, but I'm not going to do that for this video. I just wanted to show y'all how fun it can be when it's too hot outside to metal detect. You can also come in and do cornrow hunting, and it's a pretty fun hobby, especially if you get your kids into it, get the books and start filling the books up. The only thing I was missing in my book so far, I got one more for the memorials, and it's the 1973 S. For some reason that is just like I cannot find that penny. I don't know why, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. Alright, there it is. We're all finished up. A little disappointed with the pennies. I was hoping to pull at least maybe one wheat penny out of there, but hey, you never know. Like I said, I got to go back with magnification, and I might pull me a double die or a double D or a double tie or something. So we'll go double check and see, and if I do find something, I'll definitely throw it on a video. But I'm glad y'all came along with me. I'm happy I was able to find a war nickel and a buff, because I don't really find those very often, especially buffaloes. I've been on a hardcore drought with buffaloes. Cornrow hunting, so I'm happy I found one of those. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and subscribe to the video if you haven't, and I'll catch y'all later. Okay, bye.